Okay, so here we are on take number 2 of video attempts for notes. So today we're going to look at third conjugation verbs in the present tense. Again, we're sticking with the active voice. I've posted a copy of these notes in the classroom along with this video. Now I know it's my old 7th, 8th grade writing. It's a little towards the cursive side. I think when I talk through those notes and combine it with the worksheet that follows, it will be more helpful to have it than not have it. So the worksheet explains how to make the third conjugation one way. First, I'm going to teach you the way that I was taught. I think it's cleaner. I think it's an easier way to learn it, but I will go over both. So in the third conjugation, we notice the pattern: rego, regere, rexi, rectum, to rule. Like the second conjugation, our ending is E-R-E. The difference is this is a short E, not the long E that we saw in the second conjugation. Habeo, habera, rego, regere. No stress on that E, and definitely a shortened E. All of our forms come from the first principal part for the third conjugation. So we do not form the stem from the second principal part. That is what makes the third conjugation so unique. So what do? We take that first principal part and cut off the O to form our stem. So our stem for rego would be reg. Like the first and second conjugation, the first person singular form is the first principal part unchanged. The rest of the forms all start with the third conjugation's present stem. Just remember, now instead of second principal part minus the RE, now we're dealing with the first principal part minus an O. So all of our forms start reg, R-E-G, with no vowel stem. So our vowel this time has to come from our ending. It follows a vowel change that will feel similar. It feels a lot like a future tense because it's O in the first person singular, I for second and third singular, first and second plural, and then you for the third plural. I find that looking for those similarities and differences between conjugations, tenses, voice help me to categorize the information and retain more. So now what are our endings? Blank, is, it, imus, itis, und. Do that again. Blank, is, it, imus, itis, und. So now we formed our forms, R-E-G plus O, is, it, imus, itis, und. What do we get? Rego, regis, regit. Regimus, regitis, regunt. Now, I know this imus may look like an N to you. Just remember R-E-G for my stem, and then imus. Regimus, regimus. Regitus, regunt. They rule, regunt. Rego, regis, regit. The translations for present tense active voice stay the same regardless of the conjugation. I verb, I do verb, I am verbing. I rule, I do rule, I am ruling. Now let's take a look at the worksheet. So I have lesson 2, present tense, active, third conjugation. Here we're using duco, ducere, duxi, ductum. So different example verb, but we have the same pattern in our principal parts. Duco, ducere, short E, duxi. That third principal part likes to have a vowel change in the third conjugation. Rego, regera, rexi, duco, ducera, duxi. That's common. And then ductum for our fourth principal part. Means to lead. You may remember the noun dux ducus. Means a general, a leader, and eventually turned into the word duke, like Earl, Duke. So this forms your present stem from the second principal part and talks about changing the vowel. This is why I pulled the other chart. I would do first principal part minus the O equals the present stem. And then we know we have first principal part. We have present stem plus is, present stem plus it, present stem plus imus, present stem plus itis, and present stem plus und. Think it's a straighter line. You can memorize whichever you want. It will get you to the end place, which is correct third conjugation formations. Then, like in the last lesson, we got a bunch of common third conjugation verbs. Ago, agora, to do or to drive. Cadera, to yield. Cogera, to compel. That one you'll hit a lot, especially in compound verbs. It's a popular one. Cognoscere. Cognosco, cognoscere. Cognoski, cognoski, cognotum. Conscribere, to enlist. So that's to write together, becomes enlist. We get conscription, which then is the same as the meaning of draft. So you can see how the meaning of the preposition plus the meaning of the base verb form a literal meaning, but then over time, that literal meaning takes idiomatic specific meanings, often around military uses. Military uses, governmental uses, because that's where a lot of the Roman philosophy focused on. We have defendere, deligere, that's a good one. Dicere, to say. Dico, dicere, dixi, dixit. We can hear the X coming in again. Ducere, we just talked about. Guerrera, that is a big one. To bear, to wear. It is used in the idiom to wage war. Legere, to read. Ludere, to play. So we know ludus, ludi, masculine, school or game. This is ludo, ludere. I don't know what the third principal part is off the top of my head. I want to say luxi, and that feels way more like light than play. Pellere, to drive. Pettere, to seek. Ponere, to put. These are all verbs that you're likely to encounter. Winkere, remember that's that wainy, weedy, weeky. I came, I saw, I conquered. Winko, winkere, weeks, weeky, wictum. We dropped the N there. Okay, so now we're going to start practicing. Add the correct ending of the present tense active. Pueri libros leg. So they've put the present stem there for me. I've identified that pueri is my nominative plural. So I need my third person plural ending, legunt. The boys read the books. Miles ad castra contend. Miles milites, the soldier. The soldier contendere fights towards the camp. Strives, hastens, or fights. He could be walking towards the camp. the strive or the hasten. So we need third person singular, contendit. So third plural, third singular. What about the next one? They tell us they want us to use first person plural for the subject, we. We primitto the servos. Primittere, to send ahead. So we send ahead the servants. I need my first person plural, imus. Primittimus. Primittimus. We send ahead the slaves. Duc vir equos ad flumen. So it's asking, is the man leading the horse to the river? So I need third person singular, but then I need my interrogative enclitic because it's a question. So third person singular, ducit ne. Ducit ne vir equos ad flumen? Is the man leading the horse to the river? Now for B, it wants us to translate them into English. So the first one, the boys, pueri, legunt, read, libros, the books. Number 2, miles, the soldier, contendit, I'm going to go with hasten, hastens, ad castra, to the camp. And you continue on like that, down through number 10. Let's look at the next page. Translate the English words into Latin. Okay, so copias means resources, wealth. In the plural, it can mean troops. So we have, I am collecting troops. So I need to know what my word for collecting is. If I look back on page 4, or I can use SPQR to look it up, probably better to look back a page because then we make sure we're dealing with a third conjugation verb because there's different ways, as you know, to say the same thing in Latin. We know campus and ager, both a field, but they're a different kind of field. Here we're collecting, so our verb is cogere. Cogo, cogere. I have I am collecting, so I know I'm just going to use that first principal part. So cogo. Copias cogo. I'm collecting troops. Maybe I'm Hercules going out into the wilds around Thebes, and I'm collecting troops to guard Thebes against the encroaching neighbor. That's possible. He tells concilium puellae. He tells concilium puellae. Well, we need a verb for to tell. In this lesson, we have dico, dicere. We know we need a third person singular for he. I'm going to take my first principal part, and then I'm going to add my third singular ending, it. Dicit concilium puellae. He tells the plan to the girl. Direct object, indirect object. Are they choosing a leader? Ducem. Are they choosing a leader? So, what is our verb for choosing? Deligo, deligere. Deligo, deligere. I need third plural, but I have a question, so I have to add that ne, the enclitic. to change it to a question. So first I'm going to form the verb part itself. De lig. And now I add my third person plural ending, unt, deligunt, and then I put my enclitic. Deliguntne dukem. Are they choosing a leader? Aeneas has died. They can't find his body. Deliguntne dukem. Deliguntne novum dukem. A new leader, because they lost the old one. In the next section, we're going to write the present tense active of the following verbs in the form indicated. So I start with pellere. I can look back on page 4 and I see that pellere means to drive, and I need the third person singular form of the verb. I look at my first principal part, pello. I remove the O. So why did I just write it? I stopped myself. I stopped in time. I need third person singular, pellit. Pellit. Now I need third person plural for cadere. So I start with my first principal part, cado. I form my present stem, cade, and then I add my third person plural ending, cadunt. Cadunt. They yield. Yield. They yield, they seed. This is where we get antecedent. We also use it in yielding on the road. We'll say like seed. That's not a good example. We'll skip it. E, complete the Latin translation. The Romans are conquering the Gauls. So over here I've got my plural nominative subject. I see that they have taken Gaul. Now we know the province Gaul is Gallia Gallii. This is the people of Gaul, and that is Gallus Galli. And so we have an accusative plural masculine ending. The Romans are conquering the Gauls. Now we need the conquer part. So we need the winco is the first principal part. We copy our current stem, wink, and then we decide what we need for an ending. My subject is a plural nominative, so I need a third person plural verb, winkunt. Romani Gallos winkunt. The Romans conquer the Gauls. The Romans are conquering the Gauls, or the Romans do conquer the Gauls. Either way, it's present tense, third person. We did our job. He joins battle with the enemy. He joins battle with the enemy. I think that they want us to use guerro, guerrera. Remember I was telling you that is used with waging war or battle. I'm going to look to see, we do have another join though. So committo. I'm thinking they meant committo because they didn't say wage war. I think I jumped the gun on that one. He joins battle with the enemy. I already have my battle, direct object, cum hostibus, ablative of accompaniment. He joins, so I need third singular, committit. C-O-M-M-I-T-T is my present stem, and then I add the third singular ending, it. Let's do one more. Are you putting the grain on the ship? Grain is my accusative, nominative, direct object. On the ship, in Nawa, ablative place where. Now all I gotta do is fill in my verb. Are you plural putting? Well, the verb for to put is pono ponera. I start with my base, P-O-N. I add my plural U ending, itis, I-T-I-S, but it's a question, so I add my enclitic. Ponetisne, ponetisne, frumentum in navi. Are you putting the grain in the ship? Nonne, pono frumentum in villa. No, I'm putting the grain in my house. And that brings us to the end of Lesson 2, Present Tense, Active Voice of Third Conjugation Verbs. I hope that making videos like this is useful. We'll keep trying.